The following National Geographic Studios program was paid for and produced in collaboration with Disney Cruise Line.
Junkanoo is our spirit, our passion, our love.
On the islands of the Bahamas, Junkanoo is a centuries-old celebration born out of expressions of resistance and freedom.
We are Junkanoo. This is ours.
Today, Junkanoo is spilled into the streets, keeping the tradition alive with costumes made of crepe paper and cardboard, dancing to the rhythms of whistles, drums, and bells.
There is nothing in the entire world like Junkanoo.
And it's that spirit sweeping across the island of Eleuthera. Here, Disney Cruise Line is infusing the magic of the Bahamas into a new destination for its growing fleet of ships.
Everything we do is meant to communicate emotions and ideas.
The first of its kind in 25 years.
Something big starting right here.
Where visitors step ashore to experience Bahamian art.
Ta-da!
I'm beyond thrilled.
Music, dance,
You gotta move.
and natural wonders.
We can save nature. It's possible.
You did it. This entire project is about the Bahamas. It's not something that you would see anywhere else.
But infusing the best of the Bahamas into this remote stretch of land is no small feat.
Building on an island is really, really hard.
I just can't go to the hardware store.
And now, the team has only 6 months left till the first ship docks.
Time to make magic.
The moment is finally come. Who are we? Who are we?
This is one of my favorite places to come back, man. This is where it all began.
On the southernmost tip of a little-known island of the Bahamas, the Atlantic Ocean breaks along limestone cliffs.
There's a spirit in this place. You feel it, just pulls you in.
This is Lighthouse Point on the island of Eleuthera. 80 miles from Nassau, it's the longest island in the Bahamas. Just 30 feet wide in one spot, it stretches 110 miles down to Lighthouse Point.
This has always been such a magnificent view.
For the past 5 years, Bahamian artist Kevin Cooper and Disney Imagineer Kevin Thomas have been part of an ambitious undertaking here. Disney Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point.
Disney Cruise Line had been searching for its new port of call for decades.
As our fleet grows, we knew we were going to need yet another destination.
Where the ships can make that journey from Florida within a day. And we were able to find this magnificent location.
Lighthouse Point really has a mood that's full of story, these spectacular, surreal forms all along the edges of the cliffs.
Joe Rohde is a former Disney Imagineer and one of the creators behind countless Disney destinations. He helped craft the vision of Disney Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point during the design phase.
This is the kind of stuff that you just can't design.
Lighthouse Point definitely has a feeling that you get from being in it. So when we started Disney Lookout Key, that became a design thing. How can we protect the quality of this place while at the same time doing something here that will change it?
In pursuit of that goal, the team turned to the people of the Bahamas.
It's not uncommon for local people to be very skeptical and suspicious of a big company coming into their space. But if you're open to collaborating, then we will find something together that will express our common values together. We started to find out where are the artists, where are the storytellers that would be both comfortable and willing in collaborating with us. Kevin Cooper was one of the first.
I wanted to be a part of the change that's happening here, to be a part of the process of creating from the very beginning.
One of the most important people we met is Antonius Roberts, who's a preeminent artist in the Bahamas.
Bahamians make every effort to protect this paradise. I saw it as an opportunity to engage in meaningful conversations about preservation.
We started building a network of artists with whom we could talk about this idea of art as a way of letting culture speak universally.
It mimics the reef if you want to dive.
And the place itself would be the art. And through that art, they would get the messages and the feeling and the voice of the local people.
I enhanced the colors, I enhanced the details. Just, you notice even like the conch shells.
The pineapple is still my favorite though.
From these conversations, a uniquely Bahamian plan emerged, featuring cultural pavilions and spaces for music and nature.
We let our architecture be inspired by the shapes of the land and by the things that live on the land. Leaves, seashells, bird wings, by the undulating shape of the sand.
Less than 20% of the 900-acre site would be developed, with a nature trail, areas for kids and families, and just for adults. All designed on 3 main pillars.
One, the water, the sea life. Another was the land. And of course, there are different plants and animals that reside on this beautiful location.
And then finally, that of culture.
We've been able to use all of that to draw inspiration.
In 2022, construction began. Now, with just 6 months left till the first ship comes into port, all eyes are on the push to the finish line.
Camp starts to come alive around 6 a.m. I start my day very early because that's the time I have to be by myself and check the construction site. With that rain last night and the way the cloud cover is this morning, I'm not sure we're going to be doing too much today. That hurts.
Weather delays are part of any job, but building on an island this remote is a whole new experience.
That's a whole nother wrinkle that most people don't have to deal with when you're on a mainland project. Everything we get on this island comes by boat. The ocean says we have 5-foot seas, the ship doesn't sail.
Before starting the main construction phase, they had to build all the needed infrastructure from the ground up.
It's the first time building a full, essentially township with electric, water, and all the buildings that go with it, because we normally have a city that we're tying into for our infrastructure.
Then came the next hurdle, building the pier that would welcome thousands of people to the island every docking.
When we were working through the pier design, we worked very closely with our environmental partners.
The result is an open trestle pier that can anchor a 144,000-ton ship with minimal environmental impact.
The pier is unique in as far as like the distance from the shore. We did that on purpose so that we wouldn't have to dredge the seabed.
To safely dock, a cruise ship needs the water to be at least 30 to 50 feet deep. By placing the pier far enough out to reach that depth, the team avoided disturbing some of the marine life from any dredging closer to shore.
We're very mindful of how we're impacting the environment and trying to minimize that. Hey, Dave.
Angela, how are you?
What we're building here is entirely self-sustaining.
Behind the scenes, a miniature city is being engineered to sustainably power all of the guest spaces.
We have our solar farms back there that power over 90% of the electricity generated on our project.
More than 6 acres of panels were installed.
We also have our biodigesters and incinerators and our wastewater treatment plant. There's a lot back there.
I know we got a lot of work left, but
we can do it.
We're gonna get there.
All right, get back to work.
See ya.
Show us the way, Bernadette.
Just a few miles away from the construction site, another production is underway.
Hello, welcome.
My goodness. Oh, with the conch shells.
So we've been doing a little work here and there.
Oh, it's beautiful already.
These
are beautiful.
The Disney Live Entertainment team, TJ Tuckerio and Chris Bonnell, are working closely with local performers to dream up a show inspired by Junkanoo.
Junkanoo emanated from our ancestors in the country of Ghana in Africa, which then was traversed to the Bahamas. It brings you back to the history of why we are where we are. We have that feeling, that spirit, that passion that exudes when we adorn a costume, that when you hear that music, that when you feel that rush, that when you know it's coming.
It's that rush TJ and Chris are hoping to tap into for the music, dance, and art at Disney Lookout Key.
We can infuse that sound and cultural significance in everything that we're doing. Now we want to hear the music.
Yeah, now we want to hear the
Let's go hear the music.
You're ready for it.
Alvin Johnson has been a Junkanoo performer for almost 50 years. As the group's leader, he's helped recruit Eleuthera's top talent.
The music these guys are going to bring is going to be just matching it.
Today is the first time TJ and Chris get to see and hear what they've been up to.
You have a whole camaraderie of formidable, passionate Junkanoos who participate, and they express their participation through their musical instruments.
Puts me in a zone. It's like a spirit. It puts me in that place where I just feel the spirit, or just music.
I am more excited than ever before. Seeing the costumes and then hearing the music, I'm beyond thrilled.
Alvin and his group now have only a few months left to finalize the show.
Our next big challenge is going to be moving the parade to the performance space that's being built at Disney Lookout Key.
We know for sure that, you get it done. You gotta definitely get it done. You confident?
All right.
We're here.
Hey, Bradley. Welcome to the Bahamas.
In the pre-dawn hours, a team of scientists is reuniting. Their focus is a main conceptual pillar at Disney Lookout Key: conservation.
Different birds.
Oh yeah. All right, should we do it? Let's go get it. Let's get it. At Disney Lookout Key, we have prioritized minimizing our environmental footprint.
So Disney Cruise Line partnered with Disney's Animals, Science, and Environment Conservation team to monitor wildlife and help reduce any impact from development.
Ready? Let's go.
Bahamian biologists Pachancia Knowles and Bradley Watson joined the Disney team to lead the charge.
Going that way.
Okay, I'll follow you then.
Alrighty. Got some friendly plants and some not so friendly plants.
So in the Bahamas, our forests are called coppice because they grow so tightly.
Thick Bahamian coppice is an ideal habitat for a wide variety of birds, including dozens of migratory species that stop in Eleuthera each year.
We want to make sure that all of those species continue to make use of this property through the years to come.
We want to determine if there's any changes in local bird abundances, and that's going to let us know how we should manage those areas to keep the birds there.
Most of the birds have never been tracked on Eleuthera before now. The work not only protects the birds' home, but also adds to the Bahamian story at Disney Lookout Key.
My job is to entertain people with nature. I really like to think about using Disney Lookout Key as a hub for connections between our guests and nature. And we can hear the very first Bahama mockingbird calling right now, so it's a bit of a race against time to get this net up.
So we're setting up 8 mixed nets. Bradley, what's the distance between each net?
Pretty much separate them by at least 40 meters, so
Right.
yeah.
It's a delight to work with Bradley, especially in the field, because we both have strengths and weaknesses, and I think we balance each other out.
But Chancey and I have been working together for a while, and she is actually, trained as a marine biologist, really indebted to her as a partner.
What would you say is his most favorite bird species?
Bradley's favorite bird species, it could either be the Kirtland's warbler, but I might want to go with Bahama yellowthroat just because I think he have a special love for like endemics. Hey Bradley, am I right or wrong? What's your favorite bird species?
Well, I owe a lot to the Kirtland's warbler because that was my first bird. But for this trip, let's focus on native birds. Let's focus on, Bahama yellowthroat. So those are my favorites right now.
Nice.
Did you guess those?
Yeah, those are my top two.
So you're telling me I'm not mysterious? No? It's an open book?
I wouldn't say that. You have a lot of plot twists to you,
Now that the nets and the sun are up, they monitor the perimeter closely for any captured birds.
Every 20 minutes, we walk this transect so that they're not stressed out or staying in the net for too long.
We still have a bananaquit that tried to fly straight through.
A native Bahamian species called a bananaquit is the first bird of the day.
There we go. Oh, yes. Free bird.
Every bird netted during the Disney Lookout Key site survey gets measured, weighed, and banded for tracking.
So this is exciting. This bird here was captured previously, and so we call it a recap.
When a bird is a recapture, like this native thick-billed vireo.
Oh, it was hatched here?
Yeah. They can compare size and weight to prior surveys.
Now we can say, how has he progressed in life?
So this is huge. What is happening right now is literally the future of how we age birds, at this site. That's
pretty
awesome.
amazing.
It's really cool.
63.
Okay. Last year it was 62.
This is what builds the basis of our knowledge of the birds of an area. Here we
History
go.
in the making.
Something big starting right here. It also allows us to figure out why birds are doing well as if there are things that we can do to help birds do even better in different parts of our property.
Bird is healthy and happy. Well, healthy at least. I will slowly remove my hand and let him sit there for a moment until he's ready to go. Our goal is that people find enjoyment in the natural habitats at Disney Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. The more biodiversity we have and the more people we have viewing that biodiversity, the better off our society will be.
Oh, there you go.
From his studio in Nassau,
And then, of course, you probably walk through that green space there.
Bahamian artist Antonius Roberts has his own role to play in the conservation story at Disney Lookout Key.
When we talk about preservation, it's important for people who come here to understand that part of that is not only through art and culture, but our way of life.
Antonius Roberts was one of the more skeptical people who really needed to see real evidence that something was going to happen here that wasn't just a run-of-the-mill opportunity.
This is my little temple. This is my contemplative space. My specialty is, in fact, working with wood, in particular, because the trees are part of our history, part of our story. And maybe that's why I feel so deeply rooted.
That sense of place is exactly what he hopes to convey with the signature sculpture he's creating for Disney Lookout Key.
I thought it was important for me to create a piece that encompassed and embodied the whole story of preservation.
His inspiration came from a tree that had fallen naturally on the construction site.
I thought, oh, can we just take that tree and put it back? Install it back into the environment so it can symbolize the fact that you truly appreciate this tree, this center place. So I wanted that piece to represent that.
Antonius moved the tree to his studio, where he began the next phase of sculpting.
What we are trying to do is a form of storytelling. Everything we do is meant to communicate emotions and ideas.
And traditions. Bahamian straw work, or plaiting, is a weaving technique brought from Africa and passed down through generations.
Okay, he has asked for a fish. He chose the Bahamian spiderweb.
There are more than 60 styles of weave throughout the islands.
Right.
Husband and wife, Philip and Portia Kemp, have been crafting traditional Bahamian artwork for years.
Okay, start to mark it out.
They'll soon have a greater audience when their plaiting pieces go on display in the guest spaces.
So that is the fish. And now comes the fun part.
I found some shells at the beach. Use it for the eye of the fish.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. You found shells. The pieces that we create, and both of us work on them.
We would try and see who can make the best design.
Yes.
I mean, she always thought that she was always on top, but I beat up you that.
I am. If we have a number of these to do, he'll be cutting the strips, so I don't have to stop and wait. Got to keep him busy to keep him awake, you see.
The Kims have the skill set in working with the different plats.
Hello, Kevin. How are you?
Doing wonderful. How are you?
Wonderful.
We just wanted to give them the platform to create this expression of their own, to share at Disney Lookout Key.
And now the moment
yes.
that you have been waiting for.
Wow. On up to John Canoe head pieces here.
Fantastic work. They really kind of push the limits a little bit so that they're developing things that are really new and unique. These turned out so nice. So excited to share these.
John Canoe.
Back at the survey site, it's the team's last day of fieldwork before guests arrive. As part of their research for Disney Lookout Key, they're holding out for a prize find.
Top of our list of birds is the great lizard cuckoo, because there's not much known about it in the Bahamas. It's extremely intelligent, and it moves through the bush not by flying, in direct paths, but by hopping from tree to tree. It's very difficult for you to fool this bird.
Capturing a great lizard cuckoo today would provide key conservation data about this native bird.
It all helps us to put the puzzle together to understand how can we help these species reproduce and continue with a successful population rate.
It's eluded them so far.
She just yelled.
He yelled?
Yeah. Was that her?
Let's go up there and see if we can get it into the net.
She is yelling. I hope we got a bird.
I'm excited. Oh, down, dude.
Hey. Go.
Put it down, put it down.
All right. Go. I'm like violently shaking right now. My heart rate's like 100. Let's get a tag on it, man.
It's their first ever great lizard cuckoo.
Plus no signs of stress.
All right. Magnet off to turn the tag on.
They attach a tracking device that a nearby sensor station will detect, providing brand new data on how a great lizard cuckoo moves throughout the area.
This is a unique opportunity to understand and investigate species that we don't know much about. Disney Lookout Key guests are going to have the chance to see some of these species firsthand, live and in person, if they come and visit our property.
I'm going to release the bird right now. Okay, buddy. I'm releasing you, okay? Your bird has no signs of stress. All right, and 3, 2, 1. Amazing. We did it.
Through their efforts, Disney Lookout Key will remain a place animals, as well as people, will migrate to again and again.
I'm crying. I got so excited.
This is a great milestone for us.
We're all working towards conservation as a team. The Bahamas is built on its natural resources, so the work that we do is of the utmost importance for our country.
Please keep your hands clear of any pinch points. Easiest way to not get hurt.
John Huff and the construction team are working alongside the new pier that will soon carry Disney Cruise Line guests from the ship to the island. But today, the focus is on the underwater residents.
We are actually setting up for some underwater fish habitats that our environmental team has put together out of natural limestone rock, and we're going to set those on the seafloor so that the fish, as we finish construction, have a place to migrate and hide in the natural rock formations.
The pier's open trestle design allows for continued flow of water that won't block tidal movement and will help sustain marine life.
We tried to build in features to make the infrastructure more fish-friendly and to create a bit of a fish migration corridor to help them get under and through the trestle structure.
Environmental scientist Phil Kramer independently monitors marine life around Disney Lookout Key. And management is doing some heavy lifting to encourage it. Each of these giant slabs weighs between 3,000 to 8,000 pounds.
These limestone here are about 120,000 years old. So these naturally were located here at the Lighthouse Point site. We're going to cluster them into groups of 3 or 4 on the seabed.
The hope is that these will act as reefs, attracting fish and other marine life, including endangered soft and hard coral.
Coral reefs are massive reservoirs of marine biodiversity. And without coral reefs, you'd have a huge loss to the planet's life in general.
The amount of coral is declining because of global warming. It's the way that the world is right now. And this is happening across the Bahamas and the rest of the Caribbean.
From the beginning, Disney Lookout Key's conservation efforts have prioritized preserving coral. At a site nearby, they're even trying to grow and repair it in nurseries. These live fragments hang suspended, benefiting from better water circulation and protection from sea floor predators.
We're going to do anything we can to preserve the coral.
Back at the pier, that means lowering some 200 tons of fish and coral habitats onto the ocean floor. In this flat stretch of ocean floor, the stone slabs are a popular attraction.
After only 10 minutes, we had dozens of fish trying to move in, so it really doesn't take long for them to realize there's a new hotel in town.
And over the next 5 days, the team will continue to install even more, covering over 500 square feet of ocean floor around the pier.
We're adding back natural limestone structure, which essentially is the lifeblood that supports a whole cascade of marine biodiversity.
If it works, Disney Lookout Key's underwater stage will have a whole new cast of characters.
So, it's been a while since we've been out here.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man.
With only a month left until the first guests arrive, the Kevins get a preview of the final design elements at the guest pavilions.
What's beautiful is the variety of colors. I never thought it would have been this dramatic.
It's been a long journey from where they set out to do when they first met 5 years ago, from building a team of 9 local artists to seeing their concepts come to life. Like the bright-colored murals inspired by original art by Bahamian painter Dorman Stubbs.
Oh my gosh, look at the pavilions.
Or the stretched textile prints created from the work of another Bahamian artist, Keyshawn Monroe.
Love his colors.
At the cabanas, unique contributions from all the artists are on full display, including carved wood panels modeled after the designs of Andret John.
On the door as well?
Okay. Oh, wow. Yes.
Look at that. It really turned out nice, I think.
As a painter himself, Kevin has been working on wall art for the cabana interiors.
All the art that's here has been inspired locally. From the curly-tailed lizard to the crab, the conch shell, the grape leaf.
We've been able to infuse this artistry, this storytelling, into the overall environment that we've created here. Ta-da!
Kevin Thomas isn't just focused on the sights of Disney Lookout Key, but also on the sounds.
Essential Bahamian guitar part happening here, and it sounds this good, so that's a good sign.
He's working with locally based music producer Chris Chesniak to finalize the welcome song for Disney Lookout Key.
One more time for me, Dora.
Yes.
Just a little bit loose.
With the help of Bahamian musicians, they're bringing traditional sounds into the track.
Next take. All right. Next take. And then you got a full cowbell ensemble. Yeah?
It really works.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges, we love the sound. It's like, how are we going to capture that? And I think you've done that here.
Break, Scrape, and Junkanoo is our music, our traditional music. There's so many elements. It's guitars, it's drums, it's percussion instruments like the scraper. It's some bells, it's horns, anything that you could bring in it just to make noise and have a good time.
Jeremiah is also on vocals.
Everything good, everything fine. Lucha is something for everyone. Everything good, everything fine. Here in Lucha, the land of sunshine. Bim!
Yes, the BIM.
Hear the sounds of the Junkanoo.
It's just one of the original tracks designed to set the mood at Disney Lookout Key.
See fields of pineapples
At the site, it's the final countdown. For the Junkanoo group, today is their most important dress rehearsal yet.
The moment has finally come. This is what we all wanted. This is like happening.
For months, they've been practicing every move to make good on the promise to deliver a Junkanoo rush with every performance.
Make it swing, boy.
Try to get them to go as soon as we can.
This will be the first time they rehearse at the newly finished Goombay Cultural Center.
Biggest hurdle is going to be being in this space all together, same time.
Time to make magic.
Fun! This is brand new. You press play and see what happens.
You ready, man?
Yeah, so good. Dance.
Not only does the group have to get used to moving through the pavilion space, they also have some new performance.
That's it, Donald. We're still in a rehearsal process.
Are you okay? Yeah.
Layering everything in.
So I feel like definitely the launch is both in the center. Pull them in the center more to feel that shape.
Finding out what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah! Good. Paula, you ready, girl?
TJ and Alvin's performers have little time left to fine-tune the show for the first guest's arrival.
We have to do a few things in this space. Mickey and Minnie, can I switch you spots? Can you come to the middle? You're great. Come right over here.
Yep, that's good.
Of course, we have a few things we want to work on, but ultimately, this turned out better than we could have ever imagined.
Good job, everyone. How do you feel?
Hard work is going. Just happy to be here.
Hey, guys. Welcome.
Morning, Phil. How are you?
How's it going?
We are ready to go.
Today, we are actually going to begin our end of construction marine monitoring.
You guys feeling good today?
Good morning, Bradley.
Good morning, Heather.
There you go. Thank you.
The time has come to see if the new fish hotels are a success. If the structures have worked to attract marine life, they'll start using them for coral restoration.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Yep, cleared.
Right away, we could see that these fish habitats were not only populated, but the fish abundance was higher than we had seen in this same area before the trestle.
to see a lot of the yellowtail snappers, some of the grouper species. It was great to see that they've already, after 2 months, called that home.
They identify over 30 native species around the habitats, including some rarely seen in this location.
So we have two things going on. You have a lot of structure that these fish rely on. And then we add the coral because we want to preserve the biodiversity at this site.
Loose corals are secured one by one to the limestone.
This is like putting a crown on the whole thing.
Over time, as the coral grows, it will attract more diverse sea life to this area, which in turn will help the coral survive. They're also checking the nearby coral nursery.
We have to maintain these coral nurseries and limit the amount of algae growing on them. And we do that by cleaning them. These are fast-growing corals. Within 6 months to a year, you can harvest some propagules that you will go out and outplant, and then that coral that's still left on the nursery will grow back again for you to come back the following year to harvest from. This isn't our last trip out here. We're committed to this site.
Bradley and Pachantia will remain on site to support the island ecosystems long after the first ship has docked.
We've been ideating about ways we can integrate operations at Disney Lookout Key with conservation. I want our guests to leave with a story that we can save nature, it's possible and worth trying. Now is the time for us to deliver on all these great ideas.
Good job today, guys. Let's take the slow boat back home.
The push is on to put everything in place.
Let's go. The end is always the busiest. That's when all the little details start going into place.
Angela Wu and Disney teammate Dave Cheradana are going through their final punch list.
Do you want to head down to Sebastian's Cove?
Saw some updates, so steel's all set.
Mm-hmm.
Looking like fabric installs like going.
They're working on it right now. They're almost done. I love the signs on the buildings. Those are good.
Really make the buildings pop.
Yeah.
The last little finishing touches.
At the tram stop, Antonius's tree sculpture crowns the site.
It's here.
Wow, look at that.
The beacon made it. Yeah, Antonius, this
They placed it where the people will get off to walk. When guests experience my art, I hope they learn more about this place we call the Bahamas.
So the rest of this space, such a celebration of the Bahamian culture. This is one of my favorites. Our really cool door carvings.
Yeah, they turned out really well.
You can see it resembles a Mickey.
You're always scrambling, trying to make sure that everything is perfect. You only get one chance at a first impression.
It's definitely come a long way.
And just in time, too. There's only 24 hours left until the first ship pulls into port. Opening day has finally arrived, with the ship on the horizon. Kevin steals a few moments before the rush.
There's always a spirit here. It's wonderful to share a part of Illusion for the guests to see this is Bahamian. Disney's made it work.
From concept to installation, it's debut time.
The project actually celebrates not only our environment, but it celebrates the essence of who we are as a people.
We have been enjoying every single moment of it.
It's a bit of a surreal feeling seeing it from the ground up to actually seeing our first ship. I'm excited.
One of the best moments on any Disney project is when the first guest walks off that ship.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Let the celebration begin!
Everything they did at Disney Lookout Key is meant to get you to feel something and think something. It's not forceful. It's invitational. It's beautiful.
They all gotta remember what the experience here today.
It beckons you to pay attention and to look and listen.
Come to Lucha for a holiday.
For opening day, Jeremiah and his band are putting on a special live performance.
We're really hoping that some of these songs create that little earworm, something that they'll hum, something that they'll just kind of have in their mind. The inspiration behind this was to really celebrate the Bahamas.
It's people and nature, with the three pillars that we've designed from: the culture, the water, the land.
We can all be very proud
that we've been able to achieve that. The Great Desert Cuckoo is one that you may not see, but you just might hear it.
At the nature trail Bradley and Pachancia helped design, Eleuthero's wildlife is on full display.
This work is so important for the Bahamas because we need every individual to have a connection to nature for us to have nature into the future.
So much work, time, effort has gone into this place. And to see the spirit, is magic.
Junkanoo has served as a great inspiration for so much of what we've done. That beautiful pageantry is established in a lot of the places that the guests see.
Even though you're not from the Bahamas, that's okay, because once you feel the pulsation of the beat, you have no other feeling.
Who are we? Who are we?
It was a smashing hit.
Just gotta remember the energy that we got, the organic Junkanoo.
I know the journey that our Junkanoo artists have taken with us, that was emotional for me.
Guests can enjoy Disney Lookout Key for its color. They can enjoy it for its sophistication. They can enjoy it for its cultural meaning, where people have this sense of who are they among when they come to this place.
A place that celebrates the spirit of the people and the islands they call home.
Wow, the Bahamas represents excellence, possibilities.
Diversity, culture, and me. The place of pace-setting transcenders.
One of the greatest places in the whole entire world.
And something that's worth saving, worth talking about, and worth sharing.
Here in Lucha, till let the sun shine. Bim!